I'm Joe McConaughey, primary focus in viola. I take lessons in voice and I play piano. And I'm trying to learn everything else. When I was 7 or 8, I went down to Johnson's Strings in near Boston, which is this big string music shop. And it was, okay, Joseph, which instrument are you gonna pick? I started musicals when I was that young too. My first play was The Wiz, in which I was a tap dancing crow. Lauren Duffy, who was really cool. She asked me, hey, do you want to score a film? I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. I probably might be able to, maybe. So then I did.
I was actually told by a friend, Lauren Duffy, who also was the art director on the film, that she knows a guy who does great work, and so I contacted Joe through her.
This is a viola. They're tuned. The strings are tuned in fifths. So I just played, and the violin is higher in that it goes beyond that, and it doesn't have this low string. C. Yeah, it's a deeper sounding instrument, and it's mellower, and just has a different character to it.
I kind of already had a sound that I knew I wanted, and so I kind of sent those to Joe. Joe listened to them. He promptly responded with, this piece that just sounded excellent. It sounded exactly like I wanted. I was like, Joe, you're hired. You got the job.
Stein's film, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Over spring break, and I was home, so I just recorded a little pizzicato, like that. Just a few ideas that I had. I sent it to him via GarageBand, and then he ended up using that actually. So just this one little clip that I, just whatever, but somehow it seemed to work.
We were in the editing room, and Joe was just sort of experimenting with playing up near the bridge on the viola instead of where you normally typically play it. So I was editing my movie, and then during it he was giving me little tidbits, right there. I was editing to things he was playing.
So the premise of Corey's film is taking a large amount of time and condensing it into a few seconds, or a few seconds and spreading that out. If you want a sound to come from a musician, go with ideas that you feel, not necessarily musical terms, because they're so precise. But all he said was like a frigid Antarctica or something, and we just improvised.
I've been growing this beard for about 3.5 days. It's not very good yet.
The Acoustic Coffee House brings 2 independent musicians to the Keene area. The featured acoustic pop musician from Vermont, Jer Coons, says he's having a hard time growing his beard. Even though he's an independent and unsigned artist, Coons has no trouble attracting listeners. Coons has a charismatic stage persona that brings many students to his performances.
I would tell aspiring musicians to just be a promotional whore. Just get yourself out there. Don't be afraid to be really, really absurd, because you're probably not as good as you think you are, and people who take themselves too seriously are no fun to hang out with. So just have fun, and if it's not fun, then don't play music.
The opener and other featured artists at the coffee house, Jeff LeBlanc, says that true songwriters are able to put all their effort into making original music.
You know, people always say you're going to sound like yourself, you just got to be yourself, but it's tough. You know, there's so much music out there, there's so much good music out there. And I think it's really easy for songwriters to kind of just cop out and like write the easiest thing and, you know, just write whatever comes first. But I think the tough part, and the good songwriters that are out there take their time and they work through the chords, work through the lyrics, and make sure it's memorable.
The coffee house took place at 8 p.m. Saturday night in the Night Owl Cafe. The Social Activities Council sponsored the event, providing refreshments and free coffee mugs, as well as music. Coons adds that he will continue to try to impress women with his musical talents, as well as with his beard. For KSC TV News, this is Johnny Cross. Usually an open mic night consists of bands. This particular take on the event features different types of writers. Chicago poet Sterling Plum commences the event with a reading from his book titled Velvet Bebop. Plum says African American music has a distinct influence on contemporary poetry.
And I tend to see the evolution of African American music as a model for the construction of a poetic language.
Organizer Sam Bardell says the event gives students an opportunity they might not otherwise have.
I wanted to give all Keene State writers a chance to share their work beyond the classroom, and that was really important to us.
In addition to traditional poems, one student expresses himself through rhythm.
More of the same things. I see you put a nation in debt with half the world in poverty. Yo, how big is your slice of the pie? Because there's billions of people getting left out to dry. You see, bad people.
Winner of the first prize, KSC junior Michael Cole won a $100 gift card to Borders. KSC English professor Michael Antonucci says the event incorporates a wide variety of stylistic influences.
Looking at the whole of what type, the variety of literary works, spoken word, poetry, short stories, prose poems, that to me is what stood out.